Good evening, I am Mark Seal with Sports Night. The final decision on whether Trinidad and Tobago will play sole host to this year's edition of the Caribbean T20 Premier League rests with that country's health ministry. Last week, CPL organizers proposed to play the entire tournament in TNT, but Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley said that his government was cautiously optimistic about hosting the event, subject to clearance from the country's health authorities. As part of the proposal, the CPL says it would want to host the entire tournament, comprising 34 matches, at Trinidad's two main grounds, the Queen's Park Oval in Port of Spain and the Brian Lara Cricket Academy in Tarouba. There are chances of double headers every day at 10 a.m. and 6 p.m., meaning the tournament will be played over 25 days rather than last year's 39. The tournament was initially scheduled to take place from August 19th to September 26th. Tournament officials hope that overseas players will be willing to participate, with the first round of international signings due to be announced next week. There's also optimism that some fans will be able to attend games while adhering to social distancing protocols. The 6 teams that are part of the CPL will all stay in the same hotel, with them being treated as a single household. Now, within that household, teams would be broken down into clusters of 4 or 5, where social distancing could be relaxed. Biosecure environments may be the advantage of Windies cricketers. That's the view of international commentator Fazir Mohammed. With July 8th being earmarked as the proposed date for the possible start of the Windies Tour of England, Mohammed believes while the lack of fans at a biosecure ground will subtract from the atmosphere, it could be to the advantage of the Caribbean cricketers, as they're used to playing their domestic cricket in front of empty stadiums for over a decade now. In a recent interview with CBC Sports just before the squad was named, Mohammed noted that the tour may turn out to be a much longer one than originally planned because of the safety precautions which must be taken before and after the series.
For a West Indies tour of England to happen in the next couple of months or so, health and safety will obviously have to be paramount. There can be no compromise in that regard, and it's quite possible that the West Indies will have to take into consideration that they may be quarantined in England for 2 weeks before they actually get out onto the field, and the same could happen on their return to their respective territories back in the Caribbean. That's essentially 4 weeks wasted, which is something that could detract against any interest in the tour going ahead. But we'll have to wait and see, because there's a tremendous clamor for sport to get back underway because of the global demands, the broadcasters and all of those elements. And if anything has to be said about the West Indies playing in England in empty stadia, the English will certainly feel very uncomfortable about it, because they usually have huge attendances for their home test matches, while for the West Indies, with 1 or 2 exceptions in different parts of the world, they are very well accustomed to playing in front of empty stadia, certainly right here in the Caribbean as well. But lots of considerations, and indeed all of the factors related to health in the time of COVID-19 will have to be taken into consideration. First and foremost, the health and safety of the players must be paramount.
And staying with that tour, former England captain David Gower has urged the rest of world cricket to follow the West Indies in demonstrating a spirit of cooperation as the global game looks to get back on its feet amid the coronavirus. The West Indies are due to arrive in England on Tuesday ahead of a 3-match test series rescheduled for July, even though the pandemic has claimed at least 48,000 lives in Britain. International matches are central to the financing of the game at all levels, with the England and Wales Cricket Board estimating it could lose close to £252 million if there are no fixtures at all this summer as a result of COVID-19. Gower, the newly installed president of the Lord's Taverners, a cricket-related charity, added that the West Indies have done England a favor, with the sport grappling with a number of major issues prior to the pandemic.